Ahoy, mateys! When you think of pirates, what comes to mind? Is it a swashbuckling adventurer with a parrot on his shoulder, a treasure map in his hand, and a ship sailing under the iconic Jolly Roger? Images of vast, sparkling oceans, chests overflowing with gold, and epic cannon battles. It's a romantic, thrilling image that has captured our imaginations for centuries. But the real story of pirates is far more complex, gritty, and fascinating than any Hollywood movie. Today, we're resetting sail back in time to uncover the truth behind the legends of the Golden Age of Piracy. This legendary era, stretching roughly from 1650 to the late 1720s, wasn't born out of a simple love for adventure. It was forged in the fires of European politics and economics. Imagine this: major European powers like England, Spain, and France were constantly at war, fighting for control of the lucrative trade routes in the Caribbean and beyond. To gain an edge, they employed privateers, essentially government-sanctioned pirates, to attack and plunder enemy ships. These privateers were given official documents, called letters of marque, that made their actions legal. It was a great gig for any sailor with a taste for action and a share of the loot. But what happens when the wars end? Suddenly, peace treaties were signed, and these letters of marque became worthless pieces of paper. Thousands of skilled, battle-hardened sailors were left unemployed, adrift in port cities with no work and no prospects. These weren't just ordinary seamen. They were expert navigators, gunners, and fighters. At the same time, the merchant trade in the so-called New World was booming, with ships laden with sugar, tobacco, spices, and silver sailing the seas. For these out-of-work sailors, the choice was simple: starve on shore or return to the only life they knew. But this time, without a king's permission, they raised the black flag and declared war on the world. The Golden Age of Piracy had begun, and with it came the rise of legends whose names still echo through history. None more famous, perhaps, than the terrifying Blackbeard. Born Edward Teach, he cultivated an image of pure demonic fury. Before battle, he would weave slow-burning hemp fuses into his massive black beard and hair. When lit, the smoke would wreath his face in an eerie, hellish cloud, making him look like a devil emerging from the depths. He carried multiple pistols and daggers strapped to his chest, ready for action. His flagship, the Queen Anne's Revenge, was a formidable vessel with over 40 cannons. But here's the twist: Blackbeard was a master of psychological warfare. His terrifying reputation often meant ships would surrender without a single shot fired, saving him time, resources, and lives. He preferred fear over bloodshed. But the seas weren't just a man's world. Enter Anne, Bonny, and Mary Read, two of the most notorious female pirates to ever sail the Caribbean. Anne Bonny, an Irish woman with a fiery temper, left her husband for the pirate captain Calico Jack Rackham. She wasn't just a passenger. She fought alongside the men, proving herself a capable and ruthless pirate. Mary Read had her own incredible backstory, having spent much of her life disguised as a man to join the British Army. She ended up on a ship captured by Calico Jack. Her identity was only revealed when she fell for another crewmate. For a time, Anne, Mary, and Calico Jack were the terror of the shipping lanes. When their ship was finally cornered by pirate hunters, legend has it that only Anne and Mary fought back fiercely while the male pirates were too drunk to resist. Their story shatters the myth that piracy was an exclusively male enterprise. So, was life on a pirate ship the chaotic, rum-soaked freefall we see in movies? Not exactly. The Hollywood image of a tyrannical captain ruling with an iron fist is mostly fiction. In reality, most pirate ships were surprisingly democratic. The crew elected their captain, and he could be voted out just as easily if he failed to deliver or became too bossy. The quartermaster, another elected official, was responsible for distributing rations, loot, and maintaining discipline. He was often more powerful than the captain in day-to-day life. This democratic structure was governed by a strict set of rules known as the Pirates' Code. Every crew member had to agree to and sign this code before joining. These articles laid out everything: the share of treasure each person would receive, punishments for infractions like stealing from a crewmate or bringing a woman aboard disguised, and even compensation for injuries. Losing an arm or a leg in battle could earn you a handsome payout from the common plunder. This wasn't just a band of thieves, it was a highly organized, self-governing society. As for walking the plank, that's almost entirely a myth, popularized by novels like Treasure Island. Real pirates had much quicker, more brutal methods of punishment, like marooning someone on a deserted island or a swift execution. Life was harsh, discipline was severe, and survival was never guaranteed. But no golden age lasts forever. By the 1720s, the world's navies had had enough. Piracy was a massive disruption to global trade, and nations began to unite against this common enemy. Powerful navies, like Britain's Royal Navy, were sent to the Caribbean and the coast of Africa with one mission: hunt down and eradicate the pirate threat. Famous pirate hunters like Woodes Rogers made it their life's work to bring pirates to justice, offering bounties and leading aggressive campaigns. At the same time, governments employed a clever tactic: the pardon. They offered a full pardon to any pirate who would surrender and renounce their life of crime. For many, this was a tempting offer. Life as a pirate was dangerous and uncertain. The promise of a clean slate, a chance to return to a normal life without the constant fear of the gallows, was enough to convince thousands to give up the black flag. Faced with overwhelming naval power and the tempting offer of amnesty, the pirate ranks thinned. The hangman's noose awaited those who refused, and one by one, the great pirate captains were captured or killed. Blackbeard himself went down in a blaze of glory, fighting to the very end in a bloody battle off the coast of North Carolina. The Golden Age was drawing to a close. Though the era of pirates lasted less than a century, their legacy has proven to be immortal. The stories of Blackbeard's ferocity, Calico Jack's flair, and the daring of Bonny and Mary Read were sensationalized in books like A General History of the Pirates, which became an instant bestseller in the 1720s. These tales, blending fact with fiction, cemented the romantic image of the pirate in our collective consciousness. From Treasure Island to Pirates of the Caribbean, their influence on popular culture is undeniable. They represent a spirit of rebellion, freedom, and a life lived on one's own terms, outside the bounds of conventional society. The Golden Age of Piracy may be long over, but the legends they inspired will continue to sail the seas of our imagination forever. Thanks so much for joining us on this voyage through history. If you enjoyed this adventure, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the past. Let us know in the comments which historical legend you'd like us to explore next. Until then, stay curious,